What is up everyone, and welcome to some more F1 23 My Team career mode. Last time out we were at the USA Grand Prix, and despite the fact that I got the sprint win, I had to take a 15 place grid penalty, and we actually managed to have a pretty good race in spite of it. We came back through the field to finish P4 in the race. We are just 3 points off the top of the championship now with 4 rounds left to go. We are here for round number 20 of season 4 of our Jaguar racing career, and we are going to be at the Mexico City Grand Prix in none other than Mexico, you might be surprised to learn. And I'm hoping that we can have a decent enough race here. I don't think I'll be able to beat Lando Norris today, I will be perfectly honest, especially since I am turning it up to 100 difficulty because we have won this rivalry. It says 0 races remaining, which means that the rivalry is over and we won it. And yeah, this is the highest difficulty I have ever played a Formula 1 game on. I think I tried 100 difficulty for about 2 races one time and it went shockingly bad, so I turned it down by quite a lot. This was back on F1 2021, I think. So yeah, it's been a while, and I think at a track that I typically am not super strong at, I would be very surprised if I am able to take the fight to Lando Norris here today. But, you know, anything can happen. Last time out, obviously, Lando Norris had an absolute stinker. He qualified 18th. He finished the sprint in 17th. He managed to luck out with the strategy to get himself back up to P7 in the actual race. But still, we comprehensively beat Lando Norris last weekend, and it's caused us to close him right up in the championship. And I'm just trying to get through the Mexico City Grand Prix. I think that's the sort of the primary aim here. Get through it, grab a few points, don't fall out of range of Lando Norris. That's got to be the target here today. I don't think we're going to win. I'll be amazed if we're even on the podium, but if we can just grab, you know, maybe a P6 or a P7, something like that, just to keep the points ticking upwards, I think that we could be in a good position after this race has finished. In practice, we struggled quite a lot, actually, for both pace and grip. Just felt generally like I was sliding about all over the place, really struggling to put the power down and not have the car wobbling about all over the place. And that did translate into the first few laps I did in qualifying as well. It wasn't really until I got partway through qualifying that I really started to feel like I was getting hooked up. So we do a 1:15.6 as our first flying lap in Q1. It was P2 at the time of setting it, but it won't surprise you to learn that I did get bumped down the order to P12 with that time, because it's not that good. I reckon that we'll be well into the 1:14s by the end of the qualifying here today, and I do a 1:15.5, low 1:15.5 to finish the session, and we're through in P10. So not a terrible session from us, but could have been a lot better, and I'm hoping that we will be able to hopefully, you know, qualify a little bit higher than that if we can. Our quali is typically sort of our strong suit at the moment, so if we only qualify sort of 10th or so, I think we're going to have a difficult race. It's Hulkenberg, Sargent, Joe, Fittipaldi, De Vries and Stroll who are out in Q1, no surprises there. But it does, if you look at the deltas, it does look like the backmarker teams are starting to close up the gap to the teams at the top a little bit. There was 1.2 seconds between first and 20th there. Only the Alpha Tauris really are looking completely irredeemable at this stage. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if any of those guys can maybe make it through to Q3. But I'm on a used set of soft compound tyres to kick things off here in Q2, and it's a 1:15.9. That's definitely not going to be good enough to see us through. I'd be surprised if that beats anyone, to be perfectly honest. We'll definitely be in the drop zone, and we will need to go again on a fresh set of soft compound tyres to be able to make it through. We're currently in 13th, but we are improving by a decent amount, enough to beat Tsunoda certainly, but this still is not going to be quite as good of a lap as I ideally would want. Like I said, I thought we'd be into the 1:14s. I'm not actually sure that's going to happen now. We're improving by about 5 tenths. It's a 1:15.3 as we cross the line, so actually a halfway decent lap, but it's only P6, and that is kind of ideally where I'd like to be at minimum for qualifying if we can avoid it. Nobody too surprising being eliminated there, apart from Sergio Perez at his home Grand Prix, I guess. That's a little bit of a shock. But Gasly, Tsunoda, Magnussen, Perez, Lawson, and Hauger out. Disappointing for Kevin Magnussen, but he didn't really look like he was going to get through. With the field being as close as it is, I'm not overly surprised by that, but I am still a little bit disappointed. But it's okay, because he's not going to be in the team for too much longer. Only this race and then 3 more afterwards. And if you have any suggestions on who you'd like to see be my teammate for next season, then please do get your comments in the comments down below, because this will probably be the last opportunity that you'll have to get your comments in for that one, because I'm recording a batch of these videos in a row. So yeah, it's probably this will be the last time that you'll get the opportunity to have a say on that. So let me know who you want to see. And yeah, we do a 115.4 on a used set of tyres. Actually a pretty good run on a used set, so it sets us up nicely to hopefully improve a bit in our second flying lap on a fresh set of soft compound tyres. And we do just that. We're currently 3.5 tenths up as we come into the final couple of corners. We have a bit of a snap there, and that costs us a little bit of time, but I think we may just about get into the 114s here. It's a 115.0, so not quite, and that is P2. Okay, I'll take it. Given where we looked in Q1, I'm actually pretty happy with P2, and hopefully we can fight from there tomorrow.
And with qualifying complete, let's review our top 3 today. Verstappen, Robinson, and George Russell. Goodbye for now then, but we are really just getting started. Make sure you join us again for Lights Out tomorrow. In the 60s, Mexico City would be the season-ending race. That's no longer the case, but it is always a party in these parts. Welcome to the Mexico City Grand Prix. We're 2,285 meters above sea level. That is one of the key details of this circuit. It tests the driver's fitness and their engine's efficiency. The other one is the atmosphere. An incredible crowd, a raucous crowd, and there's 30,000 of them waiting for the drivers at the end of this 2.6-mile lap in the Foro Sol. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position. And Robinson completes the front row. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Russell, Oscar Piastri, Albon, Doohan, Sainz, Norris, Leclerc, Ocon, Gasly, Tsunoda, Magnussen, Perez, Liam Lawson, Hauger, Hulkenberg, Sargent, Joe, Fittipaldi, Stroll, and Nick de Vries rounds off the grid. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track. Anthony Davidson is with us once again in commentary, which is always good news. And tell us about the strategy today. Give us some insights into how the big calls are made.
Well, there's a lot that both the driver and the team have to keep in mind when going into a race. The tyres, fuel, energy recovery systems, the list goes on and on. But I think the key to today's victory will come down to the pit stop strategy. Come in too soon and you might find yourself needing more than one stop. Too late and you're putting yourself at a disadvantage by spending longer on worn tyres.
OK, we need a good result today if we want to catch Norris in the Drivers' Championship.
Well, we certainly have a good opportunity to catch Norris in the Drivers' Championship, with him starting down in P8, I believe, and us in the lofty heights of P2. All we have to do is try and stay here, hope he doesn't make too much progress through the field, and we could actually extend quite a significant advantage over our compatriot if that happens. We're 3 points down on him in the championship. If I stay second and he stays 8th, that is going to be I'm trying to work it out, a 14-point swing in my advantage, so it would take me 11 points ahead of him in the championship, which Going into two of my strongest races on the calendar in Brazil and Portugal, I am really hoping we can get a good result here today, because it would almost guarantee the championship for us, I think, if we had a big advantage. However, we've not put ourselves on the best foot here as we mess up the parking here. For the first time in a while. I'm usually quite good at those, but this time I just messed it up a little bit. So we're going to be starting quite a far way back, and we'll see what we can do as the lights come on and the lights go out. And we've got a very good getaway compared to Max Verstappen there, and we are going to take the lead of the Mexico City Grand Prix. But the AI are always faster than me in the second phase, and it is a very long run down towards turn 1. So I wouldn't be surprised if Max Verstappen fights us back into turn 1 a little bit here. We are wheel to wheel going through the first corner. 2 into 1 doesn't always go, but on this occasion it just about does. We managed to hold on round the outside. We switch it to the inside for the next part of the corner, and that is us taking the lead of the Mexico City Grand Prix here on lap 1. 35 laps to go in this race, and there is anything that could happen yet. There always is some kind of chaos here in Mexico. I don't know what it will be. It could be safety cars, it could be red flags, it could be anything at all. All I know is that this is not going to be a simple victory for me. I will not check out of this Grand Prix because I don't have the pace to do that here. Some circuits, like Japan for example, I do have the ability to do that, but this is not one of those places, and I would be very surprised if we see anything other than Max Verstappen attacking me back ferociously over the next few laps, and then probably eventually regaining the lead, or at least challenging me for the lead in this Grand Prix. Albon's actually fallen quite a significant margin behind Max Verstappen at this stage. He is almost a second down on him, so if we can have a bit of good pace here, then maybe we could even break away from Albon and at least get ourselves a guaranteed top 2. If he gets stuck fighting off the DRS of Jack Doohan, then maybe there'll be something. We're going to try and send it back around the outside of Max Verstappen there, who made the overtake, basically. He had the move done, but he just couldn't make it work. He couldn't hold on to it, unfortunately. And that's going to allow Albon to get back in the fight a little bit. Verstappen's going for it again, and we're going to try and fight him back up the inside here. We go for a bit of a late move. It's because I broke too late, quite simply. So we had to go somewhere. Decided to go up the inside, and somehow that has allowed us to keep hold of the lead here. I'm being very aggressive with my defense right now, and I'm sure that the FIA are going to have something to say about it soon if we're not careful. But as we move on to lap 4, now the DRS has been activated, and Max Verstappen is going to try and go to the outside here, actually. Can he get around the outside of me into turn 1? I'm trying to dive up the inside, but he's fighting me back to the inside of the exit of the corner. And as we get onto the next straight, it is me marginally ahead of Verstappen, but he's going to definitely fight me back with that DRS. I wouldn't be surprised if Albon tries to get involved here as well. Albon up the inside. We go wheel to wheel through the next sequence of corners, and well, who's gonna win out on this one? Will it be me? Will it be Albon? I don't really know what I want here, to be honest with you, because there's a lot of McLarens and Red Bulls involved here as well, and these are all people we're fighting for P3 in the Constructors' Championship. I don't know who we will end up beating, if any of them, but there is a big fight in the Constructors' Championship between these 4 teams at the moment: Jaguar, Mercedes, McLaren, and Red Bull. So we want to try and keep them behind if we can. But Albon has made the pass into the final sector, and now we are going to have to try and fight him back if we can. Crowd is packed out at the moment. I'm not sure why. Their home driver is starting 14th. Feasibly, is he going to win this race? No, but I guess that doesn't stop them from having the rampant optimism and enthusiasm that Sergio Perez's fans often do have. We're going to try and fight Albon back here with the DRS, but unfortunately, instead, we just seem to be coming under a bit of pressure here from Jack Doohan. I tried to make it 3 wide, but I just can't, and we've lost out 2 positions now over the course of the last lap or so. Albon and Doohan have overtaken us. Doohan potentially going to be our teammate for next season. I haven't decided yet, but I'm certainly leaning towards him. They're fighting away in front. Maybe I can capitalize on this battling to make a move of my own. We're going to try and go to the inside, switch to the outside on Alex Albon. Are we going to be able to get back up into P3? Max Verstappen, meanwhile, is checking out of this race completely. He's pretty much already got this victory sealed up, unless there's some kind of safety car or a red flag. But we do manage to regain P3 off of Alex Albon for the time being. Goodness me, I need to not go so hard on that commentary, but it's exciting, you know. We're getting to the meat and potatoes part of the season, the real part of the season where we actually get to see who's going to win the championship. Every race matters, every point matters at this stage, because we are so close to wrapping up our first Drivers' Championship. A bit of an attack there from Alex Albon, but nothing too major. We now get our first retirement from the Grand Prix, and this is the Haas of Nico Hülkenberg. Disappointing for him, I am sure, but he will be parking up and he will be out of the race. So he becomes the first retirement, and we are down to just 21 cars left in the Mexico City Grand Prix. Meanwhile, as that was happening, I was coming under pressure from George Russell, and he has gone round the outside of me here, but we have managed to just about fight him back. But then he goes to the inside. He really wanted to make that move. I've never seen the AI be that aggressive before. It's caught me off guard. It does mean we're going to get the DRS here, but I don't think that necessarily means we're going to get back past him. For some reason, the AI seem to be very, very strong on this straight. I guess because they've set their car up to be fast in a straight line, and maybe I've set mine up to be a little bit faster through the corners. But then the AI is faster than me through the corners anyway, so it doesn't even make that much of a difference, I don't think. We are closing him down, but not by enough. I think we're in more danger of being attacked by Albon. I briefly went for a look up the inside, but it was very, very half-hearted. It looked like I almost didn't believe the move I was trying to go for. Passed by Nico Hülkenberg there, of course, who did retire from the Grand Prix. And now we make our way onto lap 12. And we are going to be coming under pressure from Alex Albon once again. This time, absolutely powerless to stop him. I tried my best, but I think it all started at the exit of the previous corner, and him getting a better run from me there. Really just managed to allow him to break away and get ahead of me. Even Piastri was going for a move. As we make our way onto lap 16, we're going to be under pressure from Oscar Piastri, and I wouldn't be surprised if he maybe goes for a move. Meanwhile, Magnussen, my teammate, has come into the pits, so we're going to have to keep an eye on that situation and see where Kevin Magnussen comes out at the end of the pit stop. I tried to set this to be my box lap, but they refused because Magnussen was in at the time. But as soon as he came out of the pits, I was able to set it to pit now. I don't want to get undercut by my teammate. I think that would be very bad. So I am coming in a couple laps earlier than planned, but I think the hard compound tyres should be able to do 20 laps with absolutely no problem. So we come in, hopefully we can get a good stop, hopefully no errors, nothing like that. Nice, very good, and yeah, we are going to be out hopefully ahead of Magnussen. I know he was definitely in that train that we were holding up with, who was it, like Piastri and that, but we do just about come out ahead of him, 1.432 seconds ahead of him roughly. I'm not sure exactly what, because we're still getting up to speed, but I wouldn't be surprised if he does close us down a little bit, and we might have to battle with our own teammate or even potentially let him go. You know, we're still going to be ahead of Norris regardless of what happens, because he is not boxed yet, and we are catching that train in front for sure. So here goes Kevin Magnussen. He's going through on us for what is now P12, but I think would be what, P5, P4, something like that in the race when we've done all the pit stops. We'll have a look now and we'll see exactly. A few people coming in, including Piastri is one of them. He's pitted, and that is going to be me ahead of Piastri, so we don't have to worry about him. About 2.5 seconds actually. Someone we do have to worry about here is Pierre Gasly, who's going for a move on us, and I just didn't have the pace to stay with him, so that is going to be Pierre Gasly up into what is P7 at the time. We'll see what it is now that a few more people boxing, including Albon, who we are going to be comfortably ahead of. So we've made the undercut work there on Alex Albon. He was ahead of us by a lot beforehand. He's also been undercut by his teammate, which means that Norris is up into P8. And as things stand, we're only going to get a 4-point advantage over Lando Norris, which would let us take the lead of the championship by 1 point. Looking now on lap 22, Charles Leclerc, he just made a move on one of the Williamses, not sure which one. I think that might be Fittipaldi, but I could be wrong. And pretty much immediately after Leclerc makes that move, his car breaks down and he becomes the second retirement of the Mexico City Grand Prix. Disappointing for Charles Leclerc, I am sure. I don't think he was having the greatest of runs anyway here today, but I'm sure he will still be annoyed about that regardless. Meanwhile, in front of me, my teammate Kevin Magnussen under pressure from Pierre Gasly. Who's going to win out here? I'm not sure. I think Gasly's got the DRS, so I wouldn't be surprised if it was him. Also, Magnussen had a shocking exit there. It caught me off guard, and I ended up going into the back of him. No damage, fortunately, but that's the last thing I want, you know. The golden rule, don't hit your teammate, and I've done it. And now I'm going up the inside of him. We dive up nice and quickly. He kind of moves out of the way for us. I guess the medium tyres maybe are starting to go off a little bit after 10 laps. And, well, there's a lot more pain left for these guys because there's going to be 11 more laps on those tyres that they're going to have to do. But we are staying with Pierre Gasly, and I think we're going to go for a move on him to the outside of the corner. But by the time we actually get to the corner, we're going to be basically a full car length ahead. We brake a little bit later than planned, and that kind of hinders us a tiny bit as Piastri's made his way through on Magnussen as well. So Magnussen's fallen 3 positions in the last 3 laps, and I hope that it doesn't get too much worse for him, because he was running in quite a good position, and I'm hoping that he can grab us some key points for our battle in the Constructors' Championship. But we will see how things materialise there for Kevin Magnussen. Make our way onto the end of lap 28 now. We're going to be starting lap 29, and you can see I am leading this train of myself, Gasly and Piastri, and I wouldn't be surprised if these guys start to pile a bit of pressure on us. Magnussen holding his own in P8 at the moment, or no, P7 I think it is, and I wouldn't be surprised if maybe Lando Norris is going to pile some pressure on him before the end of the race. So we want to try and make our way through into P4 if we can, ahead of Gasly. But he's just overtaken us there, so we are going to have to try and get back ahead of him now if we want to get that P4. I think it's going to be quite important just to make sure we maximise the amount of points that we score over Gasly, over Norris. I don't think we're going to be getting a podium here, but I could be wrong. Maybe there could be a DNF in one of the front 3. Verstappen, Doohan and Russell is the top 3 at the moment. We've got the DRS on Gasly here as we make our way onto lap 30. Am I going to go for the move? I am up the inside. He has to get out of the way. And, well, there's a bit of a torpedo move from myself. I got on the curb a bit too much, and it really hindered my braking power. Fortunately, Gasly was aware of what was going on, and he moved out of the way. That got him out of the way of Piastri as well, though, unfortunately for me. And now I'm coming under pressure from the Australian in the McLaren. And no, I'm not talking about Jack Doohan, because they're both Australians in the McLaren now. And yeah, Piastri makes his way up into P4 for the time being. Hopefully we can stay with him. We're on the same tyres. We've been on them for roughly the same amount of time. Maybe me a little bit longer than Piastri, but hopefully we can still hold on to this position. We make our way onto lap 34 now, and you can see Oscar Piastri is moving to defend to the inside of the corner. By the time we get to the corner, we were almost a full car length ahead, but Piastri is going to try his luck back up the inside. We're going to be wheel to wheel through here. Who's going to win out in this battle? I'm going to have the outside for the exit of the double chicane, and that is going to allow us to walk away with the lead of the, not the lead of the race, but P4 in the race once again. With only a couple laps left to go, who knows which direction this one is going to go in. Will it be myself? Will it be Piastri taking P4 today? I'll have to defend quite hard, I think, if I'm going to keep him behind. And as we make our way on to the final lap now, you can see that I am doing everything I can to try and defend from Piastri, push him as far to the inside of the corner as I can, but we just don't have the grip anymore to try and go around the outside of him, and so Piastri has made the move. He's going to have the DRS here, so unless we get the exit from God, which we haven't, that is Piastri up into P4, and we're most likely going to have to settle for P5, but there might be another twist in the tail yet, because here comes Pierre Gasly round the outside of us. We've tried to fight him back, brake nice and late, and we just about hold on to that. He's going to have one more DRS zone, one more opportunity to overtake me, and likewise I might have another opportunity to overtake Piastri, but I really don't feel like I have much pace left in these tyres at all. We've been on them for 20 laps. We've really taken the best out of them. Somehow Gasly has managed to make these medium tyres go to the end and actually do quite well on them, considering the amount of tyre wear he must be dealing with. I don't think he's going to have quite enough here with the DRS. It's only a short DRS zone, and so we are going to hold on from Pierre Gasly. Meanwhile, Max Verstappen has taken the win. Jack Doohan follows him up for another podium this season. What a stellar season Jack Doohan is having, and we are going to round the final few corners. Oscar Piastri is going to beat us on this occasion to take P4, and it is going to be us taking P5 here today in Mexico City. I pretty much did everything I set out to do, so I'm not too disappointed with that result, but I certainly do feel like maybe there was a bit more on the table, what with us qualifying P2. Kevin Magnussen gets driver of the day because he did manage to hold on to grab at least a few points there, and not a bad race from either of us.
It's a performance to be proud of from our Mexico City Grand Prix winners today. What do you think it was, Ant, that gave them the edge over the competition today?
I really feel the track layout combined with the track temperatures we saw today suited their car. These cars come alive when the tyres are just at the right temperature, and the driver did a great job managing that as well. They just look so comfortable out there. It's like anything, it always looks so easy when it all just clicks.
Aston Martin's performance today has shown that they can be competitive with the biggest names in the sport. They're making their way out onto the podium now as we speak, and the reaction from the crowd must be incredibly uplifting for them.
So Verstappen takes the victory here for the first time since, I believe, Australia was the last race that Max Verstappen actually won. So, yeah, he'll be happy to be back on the top step of the podium. Jack Doohan, I'm sure, will be elated to be there as he continues to increase his stock in this second half of the season. And then George Russell is the Red Bull up on the podium. I'm sure they will be disappointed not to see Sergio Perez up there for Red Bull. But, well, I don't know where Checo ended up finishing. It wasn't good.
So then, it's time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship. Robinson takes over the lead of the Drivers' Championship. So let's discuss, Ant. Who would you say is a contender for your driver of the day?
Max Verstappen seemed to just effortlessly weave through the other drivers today without a care in the world. He was definitely my driver of choice.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. McLaren continue to increase their gap at the top. Meanwhile, a strong weekend from Red Bull this time out, and they improved their position in the championship. I'm equal parts exhausted and elated with this weekend of Formula One. Be sure to join us for the next one.
Well, we have fallen down to P4 in the Constructors' Championship, what with George Russell getting a podium there. That was just enough for them to move ahead of us in the Constructors' Championship. But we have retaken the lead of the Drivers' Championship by a single solitary point. We are 1 point ahead of Lando Norris right now. And we have 2 of our strongest races coming up, so we need them to go well. I need, hopefully, to be scoring the maximum complement of points in both. We could potentially grab 60 points, and if we do that, I think we could mathematically wrap up the championship by the time we get to the end of Portugal, if we can have some good races. We'll see whether that happens or not. I don't think we can mathematically wrap up the championship in Brazil no matter what happens, but Portugal definitely might be a possibility, what with how things stand at the moment. I somehow feel like this one's going to go down to the wire. If you ever watched my F1 22 series, then you will remember that I was involved in 4 championship fights in seasons 4 through 7, and in each and every one, the championship went down to the wire. Every single race, the championship was decided at Abu Dhabi, and I'm not sure whether that was the case in all 3 of these seasons as well. Obviously, I wasn't involved in any of the championship fights, but if I'm not mistaken, I know Russell won the first 2, and then Bottas won the third, and I know Russell won the last one on the final day of the season, and Bottas won his championship on the final day of the season as well. But I don't know about if Russell won his second one. It would have been Vegas that year. That was the last race of the season, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember, to be perfectly honest with you. So, yeah, someone, if they want to go back and look at that, feel free. But yeah, my point being, I think this championship is going to go down to the wire. Something tells me, and maybe this is me jinxing it, something tells me I'm going to be stricken by one more little bit of bad luck at some point in these next 2 races, because it is very customary for that kind of thing to happen. But I still think I have the potential to pull it out of the bag in the final race of the season. We just need to have a strong race in Brazil, strong race in Portugal, do the best we can possibly do, and hopefully we should be in a position primed and ready to win the championship in Abu Dhabi. I don't think Abu Dhabi is one of my strongest circuits, so I don't think that it's going to be enough for us to be like, oh yeah, we just need to win or whatever and it's guaranteed. I think we need to have it a bit more secure than that by the time we get to Abu Dhabi. Either way, I can't believe we've made it this far in the championship. This was a very, very swift season, but I suppose it's because I've actually been recording these daily, which in Season 2 and 3 didn't really happen due to the issues I was facing. Like I said in my recap video, a huge thank you to everybody that supported me through all of the issues and the scheduling consistencies and stuff like that. I'm really glad that we are finally back to a regular upload schedule. If you haven't seen my community post about what my schedule is going to be like over Christmas, then do go and check that one out as well. And, well, that is going to be it for this video. So if you enjoyed, please make sure you like and subscribe. Next up is Brazil, and hopefully I will see you in the next one.